for today's lesson. Today we are going to have a very interesting topic. We are going to talk about ogre narratives, or another name is monster narrative. So when I say ogre, I also mean monster. So we want to talk about ogre narratives. Ogre narrative is one of the narratives. Remember, we have done some of the oral narratives. We have done, for example, we have done trickster narrative. You remember the story of the hare and the hyena? Then we have done legend. You remember the legend of Kipsigis Mugeni? You remember the Mugeni, the legend of the Kipsigis? We have also done explanatory narratives. The story that answer the questions that starts with why. Why does the tortoise have that rough shell? And so today we want to talk about monster narratives. And in this narrative, we are going to specifically look at characters and their traits. We are going to look at the characters and their traits in this narrative. We are also going to learn about the characteristics of ogre narrative. So ensure, my good learner, by the end of this lesson, you are supposed to be able to identify the characters and their traits, and you are also supposed to list the characteristics of ogre narratives. Now, what is an ogre? What is an ogre? An ogre is an imaginary creature in narratives. An ogre is a creature that is imaginary. It is just created out of the mind. Have you ever listened to someone telling you of a story where there was a creature who looked so scary? So that one must have been an ogre. Now, an ogre is an imaginary creature in a narrative. Now, ogre narratives are narratives which has imaginary creatures. Now let us look at the characteristics of ogre. Let's look at the characteristics of ogre. Like these other narratives you have talked about, ogre also has specific characteristics. Now, one characteristic of ogre that is also common to all these other narratives is that in any narrative someone is going to narrate to you, any story, there is a moral lesson. So number one, there is moral lesson. After listening to a narrative, there must be a moral lesson that you are taking home. Now, that is one. Let us, my blackboard is still small, but we have to fix everything. Another characteristic of ogre narrative, we have they are evil. The ogre in these narratives are always evil. Somebody evil is someone who loves to see people suffer. So when an ogre sees you suffer, that is what makes that ogre to be very happy. In fact, the ogre can see you suffer and instead the ogre will just be laughing its heart out. They are evil. Number 3, ogres, they are capable. They can change. They can change into different physical features. They can change into different physical features. An ogre can change to any form it feels like. It can be as so huge as a tree. It can also change to be a tiny thing. It can change in different forms. Another one. They are usually large. The ogres, they are usually large. They are usually large. They are like giants, very huge. They're usually large. I hope you're also thinking of other characteristics and you're also listing. Just check if whatever I have here is what you also have. Now, the ogre, they can do magical things. They are able to do magical things. They are able to do magical things. The ogre in these narratives are able to do magical things. Something that cannot be done by ordinary people. For example, we just said that it can change into different form. Another one, an ogre can also do something that cannot be done. For example, an ogre can even carry you with one of its hands and run away with you. Now, I've not listed all of them, so I'm leaving you to also add some other characteristics of ogre narratives or characteristics of ogre, and I will also check. So ensure you also add other characteristics of an ogre. Now, I want to tell you a story, and this story is in your English textbooks, the grade 7 English textbook. It is a story about ogre. Listen to it keenly and try to identify the characters with their traits as you enjoy the story. The story begins. Once upon a time, there lived an ogre in a certain town. The ogre had a large music studio, and he used to rent people's homes and get the people to go work as slaves in his music studio. So whenever he come to the place, he will just spit on you, and once it has spat on you, you stop thinking, and that is the time now he takes you to his music studio and work as a slave. So in this town, there also lived two siblings, Nala and his sister Nasio. Nala was a great musician. He used to go each morning to perform, and after performing, he will be given money to go with back at home. So it happened that the ogre had raided people's homes, captured people, and many people were working in his homes until almost all the people in this town were just in Ogre's farm, apart from the two siblings, Nala and Nasio. Nala taught his sister not to open the door whenever he would leave for his normal errands singing. He will always go and leave Nasio with one instruction. Nasio, my sister, I am going. Lock the door. Do not open the door to anybody. And whenever I will be back, I will sing a special song. That is the time you open the door for me to enter. So one day, Nala went to perform at a music concert. After returning, he came back and sang. I need to teach you this song. This is how the song was. Nasio, Nasio, your brother is back. Nasio, Nasio, your brother is back. He has made a fortune from his song. Open the door so he may come in. You have got the song? Let us now sing together. Nasio, Nasio, your brother is back. Nasio, Nasio, your brother is back. He has made a fortune from his songs. He has made a fortune from his songs. Open the door so he may come in. And Nasio will open the door for Nala, and Nala will enter the house as usual, and they will just be staying together. So it happened that the ogre was now jealous of Nala's success. So in this particular day, Nala had gone to perform as usual. And then the ogre went to their place and sang so that Nasio would open the door for it. But its voice was very, very scary. Nasio shouted at it and told him, "You are not Nala. I am not going to open the door." So the ogre went back and looked for a plan to ensure that its voice comes exactly as Nala. So the ogre went to a voice doctor, and the voice doctor made its voice to sound the same as Nala. So the ogre came back and sang, but this time round it sang like Nala. And then Nasio opened the door. The ogre carried Nasio, went with her to his music studio where other people were working as slaves. When Nala came back, Nala sang. Nala sang that day. Nala sang repeatedly the same song he had been singing whenever he was back. But this time round, Nasio did not open the door. So after singing for quite some time, he decided to break into the house. When he broke into the house, sure to his guess, Nasio was not there. And Nala knew deep down that whenever a person disappeared, it must be the ogre. So Nala knew that the ogre had finally taken his sister away. Nala looked for bees, collected many bees and put in a bag. He collected some bees and put in a bag. And then he started looking for the ogre as he was singing. And this time round, the song was this way. Let me give you the tune. Whoever stole my sister will have to steal me too. Whoever stole my sister will have to steal me too. I hope you now got the tune. Let us now sing together. Even if you're listening, even your mother should even join. Let us go. Whoever stole my sister will have to steal me too. Whoever stole my sister will have to steal me too. And remember this time round, Nala had a bag full of bees, and on the other hand, being that he was a talented musician, he had a guitar. So as he was singing, walking, looking for his sister, he had a bag. So a bag on the other hand, a guitar on the other hand, and he was singing. Now let us sing. Whoever stole my sister will have to steal me too. Whoever stole my sister will have to steal me too. Nala sang, walking. Nala walked as he was singing. He walked as he was singing until he reached the ogre's place. Reaching there, he had people singing in the ogre's studio. They were singing. Remember here they were working as slaves. They were singing in the ogre's studio. Then Nala shouted so that the ogre could hear him. He shouted this way, release my people, or else you get stung. Release my people, or you get stung. You release my people, or you get stung. He shouted. When the ogre heard that, the ogre heeded to the call. He agreed to release the people. Then Nala gave another order. Before these our people leave your place, make them think again. Before you release the people, make them think again. And then the ogre also heeded to the call. And one by one, the people lined up. One by one, he spat on them, and the people came back to think again. And their mind was brought back. The ogre spat on each person, and they were now very happy, going back their homes, being headed by Nala. And they lived there ever happy. End of the story. Now I hope you have understood this story. It is an ogre narrative, and in the story you can identify the characteristics of ogre narratives as the one that we have listed here. So I want you also in your books to list the characteristics of the ogre narratives that you have listened to in the story. Now, we also want, remember the other thing we also want to check in this lesson is the characters and their traits. Characters and their traits. The characters and their traits in narratives. Now the narrative you have just listened to, I want you, where you are, to draw a column like this where we have the character, and then we draw the trait, and then the last column is specific thing specific thing that show the traits. Specific thing that show the trait from the story. Now the specific thing could be what the character did, what the character say, what other people say of this character that will support the trait that you have listed here. For example, I want you to identify the characters in the narrative that you have just listened to, and then write them down. Write them down. You can even write in the comment section. Write them down. So we have character number 1, we have Nala. Then character number 2, you also need to write number 2. We have Nasio. Character number 3, we have the Ogre. Now, what can you say of Nala in the story? Remember, you've seen how Nala lived with his sister Nasio, and every morning he will go to perform so that people will give him money. So that what we can tell of him is Nala is a hard-working person. Hardworking. So we can say Nala is hardworking. What specific thing show that Nala is hardworking? We will say each morning he will go and sing. He will go and sing. Now, I want you to do the same with these other characters. And Nala's character is also not limited to only one. You can as well add another character for Nala. So the first one is hardworking. The second one, what can you say of Nala? Yes, he was hardworking. He was working every morning. He will go to sing for people. What can you say of him? When he came back that particular time and found that his sister was not there, what did he do? So what will you say of that? I want you to write it here. And if you are far away, if you are far away, you can't wait for schools to open, you can as well comment in the comment section. Then also give the characters for Nasio, for the Ogre. I will also check. Ensure you do this work. Now, before the lesson comes to an end, we have been talking about Ogre narratives. And I now know you can tell what an Ogre narrative is or a monster narrative is. You can as well identify the characteristics of Ogre narratives. Number 1, it has a moral lesson. The Ogre are always evil. They can change into different creatures. They can change into different physical features. Ensure you don't forget. And also, the last one is to identify the characters and their traits. So this is how to identify the characters and their traits. You write the character, you look for the specific trait and what support that specific trait. If you do that,